Welcome back to the Session Up Podcast. This is your boy Danny P up in the limousine.
This guy's a fool. I'm Phil.
We got Philly Phil, and we got a special guest today.
Special guest.
Go ahead and introduce yourself, bro.
What's up, everyone? My name is Sambo, but I guess today it says Sam Breezy, so I'm a man of many names.
Hey, welcome, Sam Breezy.
He said it like super
Mr.
Cambodian, like
I know.
Sambo.
Mr. My
Damn,
Chemical
okay.
Romance. Mr. Indiana doesn't even matter.
Wow, okay.
Lincoln Park's biggest fan.
Yeah.
You know it.
Would you say that?
Park.
Oh, man, I love Lincoln Park. That was my jam
Hell
since
yeah.
middle school.
Hell yeah.
Middle school days, man.
Which one's your favorite song, though?
Oh, man. So, obviously, in the end, but I also
Indian.
like Numb.
Numb was my favorite, bro.
Numb.
Oh, I like the remix with Jay-Z.
Oh,
Hell
man.
yeah.
That one's tight.
That shit was
Hey,
hard.
man, their remixes were great.
Yeah.
All of it works.
Yeah,
was
yeah.
I
tight.
mean, so like, if y'all didn't know, I grew up not really listening to hip hop.
Mhm.
So that,
Oh,
that was
I
kind
knew.
that was kind of like yeah, you do.
I do.
Yeah, obviously.
Obviously.
But that was my closest way to like getting into hip hop.
Uh-huh.
I was like, oh shoot,
When they did
Yeah.
that collab album with
that was
Jay-Z.
a tight ass collab.
yeah.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, man.
Sir.
But Sambo, man, we appreciate you coming on the podcast with us today, bro.
Nah, man, thanks
For
for inviting me, being
Yeah.
here. Let me tell my story. And
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I've known Sambo since high school.
Yeah.
You known Phil,
Yeah, I knew of him in high
know
school.
of
I
him?
mean, like I would see him around and stuff like that, but I was a loser.
You seen his,
so, you know,
you
so
seen his
no
mohawk.
one knew me.
and you seen his mohawk.
Yeah, I seen his mohawk.
You
yeah,
for sure seen his
I
mohawk.
definitely seen his mohawk. Definitely seen it.
I mean, I think that's the thing is like being Cambodian in Long Beach, or just being Cambodian in general.
Uh-huh.
You don't have to know the person.
Right.
Yeah,
But you know of the
yeah,
person,
exactly.
so-
Everyone knows everyone,
True.
especially in
True.
Long Beach.
And how long had you had your mohawks, bro? How long?
Let's see. I started growing that out when I was 16, and I did that until I was like probably 23.
Oh, damn, really?
Damn, that's
You had it for that long?
Yeah, I had that for a long. It's
shit.
That's 7
for-
years.
For me, it was like, you know how they say
Yeah.
you're going through a phase.
Yeah.
For me, it was a phase because I was like, all right, cool. I get to live and be a rebel for
That was
quite some time.
that was a long
Yeah.
phase.
I didn't have to grow up until then.
Damn.
You felt like the hair was kind of like kept you young.
Oh yeah, it was part of my identity.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like a trademark, huh?
Yeah, yeah, because everybody had like clothes, like wearing Nike and stuff
Yeah.
like that. I didn't grow up like being able to afford that.
Yeah, right.
So buying like a gel like $10 for like a whole week.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
probably spent a lot of money on gel though. But you could have used that to buy some
Yeah.
Nikes.
Hey, what was it, Labella?
Labella.
Yeah.
I already know.
That big ass, it's like a tub, huh?
No,
Yeah,
no,
big
no.
ol'-
So they had that one that's I think is still around, but back then I think they discontinued. It was a spiky glue gel. So I guess
okay.
with that one they made it with gel because
Oh, yeah.
my hair
But
it's
it-
not like most people wear it straight.
Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
it
So
curly?
like I had to, it's kind of curly. So
So
like
you had-
I had to force it.
Hey, make sure you send me a picture of that so I can put it on the episode so people can know what the heck we're talking about.
Oh, man, I
Send
got-
me a picture
We need
later
that.
on.
We need
I got plenty.
send me some pics, yeah.
I got plenty.
And I think it's like glue, huh? So just to make it like.
Yeah. So
Blow dryer too?
no, I didn't have a blow dryer, bro.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, I never used a blow
Damn.
dryer before.
So
Really?
back
when I was
then-
younger.
When you spike your hair, you didn't use a blow dryer?
Hell nah.
Oh shit.
You know what I did?
I did.
Actually, what I did, I used to put my hair down.
Uh-huh,
And
yeah,
then-
yeah.
or- you know what I mean?
And just
It-
like-
yeah.
You
just
spike
spin
it up. Yeah, yeah.
That was
Yeah.
actually one of the ways I did it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for me, since it was really hard for me to like hold it up, like I couldn't like put it like what Danny did. I had to like put the gel on and then like spike it up, like I pull it up, and I had to hold that for an hour.
Whoa, shit.
Get the fuck.
So
How long
I-
did it take you to get ready for school,
Hey,
bro?
bro, you know,
So-
class starts at like 8 a.m., bro.
Dude, I since I was like that was my identity and I was so into it and that's like what people were knowing me for.
Yeah.
So you're committed.
I was committed, bro. Like I wake up at 5:00.
Oh, shit.
Yo, that's
I do my
crazy, bro.
thing. 6:00, I'm ready.
Damn.
You know how that just shows your mentality, bro. Since you were a kid, this
Hey,
guy was determined
committed.
every day. He was
Yeah.
committed.
Dude.
Determined. I think one of my qualities too is like I'm very patient.
Yeah,
'Cause, like for me, it's like all right, it's gonna happen.
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So, you know, just to kind of let everybody know the reason for our podcast today is,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, Sambo. Is it Sambo? Is that how you saying? Come on.
Yeah, it's pronounced Sambo. So I guess I'll just do my intro.
Yeah.
So Sambo is a Khmer name, obviously.
Yeah,
If
okay.
people didn't know.
Is there a meaning?
There is a
Khmer name.
meaning.
What is it?
So I didn't know until I was 21. It meant
know.
you right?
I do know.
It means many.
No,
of-
let him make a guess first.
Okay,
No,
go for it.
it like
Okay.
Sambo, like you got a lot. It's like you have a lot of things, right?
Is he correct?
He is
Germany,
correct.
Okay,
Sambo,
okay.
Sambo lawyer.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
like that.
Okay, that now it makes sense. There you go. Okay.
That's
Okay.
that's the funny thing is like when you took the time to like all right, Sambo is a Khmer name. Like what
Yeah.
does it mean?
Yeah.
That's how it hit me when I was 21. So me
Yeah.
growing up, like I was told it's a Khmer name, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know that until I had to do a research project.
Oh, really?
And I was doing a research project. It's like, all right, look up your name and find your history.
Mhm.
So when I looked it up back when Google was still like,
Yeah, still
starting
new.
up, I found Urban Dictionary. And
Yeah.
Urban Dictionary, the first definition was not the Khmer definition.
Of course.
It was a definition for, so in American history, if y'all didn't know. So compared to Sambo is a derogatory term for African Americans and blacks.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
No way.
Sambo.
So it was really interesting, and it kind of like got me like realizing a lot of teachers that were specifically white, they wouldn't call me Sambo. They would call me Sam. And I was like, why would they call me Sam?
Wait, but they knew?
Oh, so they didn't want to
They
say
knew.
that.
No,
They
'cause-
knew what
and
it
the reason
meant.
the reason
Oh,
why I say they
wow.
knew
Damn,
is
really?
because of the conversations I've had now.
So it's a
with-
derogatory term. Huh?
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because like right now, like a
That's
lot of people that
crazy.
know the word, they'll pretend like I don't know it. But a lot of the
Well, a lot of people don't want to bring it up just in case.
they want to bring it up because
people
they
might
don't
get
know the
offended.
Khmer. They don't know the Khmer history.
Right.
And for me,
Yeah.
knowing my history is like, no, I'm gonna talk about it. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
we're gonna get into this because
Yeah.
I wrote a lot of Ubers that were African Americans or black that picked me up, and they would always say, "It's like, hey, can we talk about your name?" I'm like, "Let me guess. You think
What?
it's it's for real? Like,
Yeah.
I was like, is it? You
Damn.
think it's a derogatory term?" I'm like, "You're it's gonna be derogatory if you're gonna say it's Sambo.
Yeah.
But if you say it in my
Sambo.
people's language, Sambo, it means abundance and good fortune.
Yeah.
Yeah, rich.
And it got to the point, dudes, where I got my name tattooed in Khmer.
crossing my
The
leg to
actual
get comfortable.
Khmer.
Yeah.
So it's like let people know, it's like, this is how it's actually
Yeah.
seen.
So how did those conversations go with those the Uber drivers that were African American, black?
Yeah.
No, like to tell the truth, after I explained it to them, they're like, oh,
They
man,
were cool,
because
right?
yeah,
Like,
'cause,
okay,
like,
that makes sense.
Well, because you can't. It's not like it's a white kid named
Yeah.
that or a black kid named that.
Right.
But that's crazy. I didn't know that. That's wild.
Yeah.
That is fun fact. Fun fact. Don't use
Yeah.
that word, please.
Damn.
don't use the other one. You can use my original name.
yeah, Sambo. I'm gonna say Sambo now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sambo.
Yeah.
Sambo
That's
Tirana.
pretty crazy.
Sambo.
I learned something new.
You
That's
know,
crazy.
and my last
But
name,
it all makes sense though.
my
Yeah.
last name is Sa.
Sock.
You know,
Okay.
So you guess what Sa?
Tat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
A lot of tattoos. What the?
That means you're rich in tattoos.
Rich in abundance of tattoos. You got a lot
Wow.
of tattoos. Huh?
I eventually
He
did
started
get a-
living. He's like, you know what? That's me. That's my name.
But before that, like when I knew about it, like I wasn't really thinking about getting tattoos. But
Yeah,
before
yeah.
that, like I took another meaning to the name. I was like, well, it doesn't have to mean like I have abundance of tattoos, but I have an abundance of things that are written on me. There, it could be like not like physically, but
Yeah,
mentally,
yeah.
because like I like to learn about history in a sense and
Yeah.
like
Okay.
and sharing that knowledge. So for me, it's like I went like to that route. But then
Yeah.
eventually, my first tattoo
Yeah.
got me into more tattoos.
Yeah.
So
Oh
just-
yeah. Once you get one, it's an addiction.
Well, tattoos. I think if you look at it like as like figuratively,
Yeah.
maybe it's like something that's permanent, something that means something to you.
Yeah,
So you have
we
an
should.
abundance of meaning or
Yeah.
an abundance
Mhm.
of
Yeah.
something that's gonna make you who you are. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I think that's still cool, man. That's
Yeah.
dope.
Yeah. Sure.
Yes.
That's a good way to look at it. man. That's a great way to look at it.
I know.
My mind is blown today. So God,
Mine's gonna be continue blown.
Can
to-
continue.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So yeah, man. I remember last year you went to Facebook and you shared a little bit of your story about what your mental health, what you went through when you were younger.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's going to be one of the main things we're going to be discussing about as well. If you can give us a little backstory about that, bro, that'd be
Or even like building up to it, like leading up
building
to it.
up to it. Yeah, where it started.
So
and-
yeah, I guess
maybe as a kid.
So yeah, as a kid, being a child of refuge.
Yeah.
So a lot of for us being Cambodians,
Yeah.
our parents went through the Cambodian genocide.
Yeah.
They experienced a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
So after that trauma, like going to the refugee camps and just like trying to like get out of the country and go to something better, there's a lot of trauma that they didn't really get to really work on.
Right. Right.
So getting sponsored, my parents everybody got sponsored around the world. So my parents, we got sponsored to Phoenix, Arizona in the mid '80s. From what my parents were saying, that's where I was born.
Yeah. Oh, you was born in Arizona?
I was born in Arizona, so there's
A hot desert.
I like the hot.
Yeah.
So when it's
That's
summertime,
why.
So when people like hate the heat, I was like, it's like, oh, maybe it's because I was born in the desert because
Yeah.
I love it. Like, yeah.
You know why? You know he likes hot?
Right.
Because he came here on a hot day with a sweater on.
I know wearing t-shirts. Yeah, that's true. He likes to be hot.
I know.
I get cold easy to tell you.
Yeah?
guys the
Nah, I
truth.
feel you, yeah.
Yeah. Like if it lowers the temperature a little bit,
You're like, fuck that.
like give me a jacket. I'm done.
Yeah.
All right, let's turn off the AC.
So Arizona, and then what happened from there?
Yeah, so we live in Arizona. There was really a small community for Cambodians.
I bet.
So
so
like
any over there.
Yeah.
it was not a lot of Cambodians.
Yeah, I bet.
But like I think like a lot of families heard Long Beach was a great community where like already a lot of Cambodians were really living here. So my parents and other people that we, I guess they made friends at the refugee camps. Like, hey, let's pack our bags and move to Long Beach. So we end up in Long Beach, and then I think we lived close to what Butler was at.
Okay.
Butler.
Yeah.
And then we just kept on moving around. I think I remember like one place we were closer to Signal Hill. So there's always a joke where like Cambodians tend to live like 5 families in one house.
Yeah.
I
No, for real.
legitimately lived
Yeah.
through that. Like I remember before the time my brother was getting born, there was 5 families in a house.
Damn.
So me, my sister, my dad, and my mom had one room. Another person had like another room. I think the house was like 5 bedrooms or whatever, and then there was a living room.
Wow.
But there was so many people around, but
That sounds fun,
So
though,
it's just
kind of.
busy all day, huh? It's very active.
That's
probably-
crazy, bro.
I don't remember too much.
5 households
Yeah, that's crazy.
in one home.
But that was very common back in the day.
That was coming back then, though,
Very,
because
very
everybody
common.
was trying to get on their feet.
Everyone was trying to help each other out and just kind
Yeah,
of give them
yeah.
a little
But you
fresh
can
start.
imagine, like, they going through that trauma,
Mhm.
and then, you come to Long Beach or a different hood, and you experience a different type of trauma.
Yeah.
It's not like you coming over here, and it's
Mhm.
like, hey, new
Everything's-
life.
Yeah.
acceptance, and then
Yeah.
like
Here's, acceptance.
A lot of Cambodians
exactly.
weren't living in like the suburbs or like the good suburbs.
Oh,
Like they
at
were
least not
thrown
right
into
away.
like
Yeah.
areas
The
that was
hood.
like, yeah,
In the poverty neighborhoods.
yeah.
Yeah, in the hood for sure.
That's where I eventually. So after living there, eventually, where I went to school for Whittier Elementary School.
Mhm.
Whittier.
So right on Walnut and 14th, or close
Yeah.
to 14th, where around
Yeah.
that area.
Yeah. It's the hood,
That's when it was.
Yeah,
the
that's
hood.
definitely the hood.
That's the
East
hood,
side.
yeah.
I didn't know it was a hood when I was younger. I mean,
Yeah,
I
of course.
didn't know-
When we're young, I don't think we pay attention to that. We
Nah.
like this is what we know. This is our lifestyle. So you don't think anything different of it.
Yes. It was weird. It was interesting. Growing up in that, and like it was weird, like because the gang violence that was happening,
Yeah.
and like the adults was like go inside the house.
Yeah,
But I was
yeah.
like, I didn't understand. I was like, I'm trying to play, like I'm
Yeah.
trying to have fun.
I would hear shootings in my neighborhood, and I would have to just run in the house. Every time I hear shootings, I would run in the house. It was like a normal thing. It was like a daily thing.
I never heard the shooting, but what I would do when I remember, because my parents would walk me to school when I was going to kindergarten and stuff, like I would see pictures of Cambodian boys that lost their life
Oh really?
through the
Oh
drive-bys.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
it
that
still
was-
sticks
And
to my head.
Probably your mom and dad was like, you see what's going on right here. This is why we're telling you this and stuff like that.
Oh, they didn't know what was going
You
on.
actually
really?
seen?
Oh shit.
My family. So me growing up, I was very sheltered. Like
Yeah.
our family, like we really didn't go out unless we had to go out. So it was going for
Yeah.
food or whatever. Like we didn't really go celebrate Khmer New Year's in the
Oh,
park.
okay.
Like we stayed at home.
Okay.
So like all this that was happening on, like we kind of didn't know what was going on, but
Oh, okay,
but
I
like
got
you
you.
kind of like you knew something wasn't right around the
Yeah.
neighborhood.
Yeah. It was a
Gotcha.
little different for me growing up, bro. I was like an unsupervised kid, bro. Like straight up, like
Yeah.
no supervision. So we were out everywhere.
Oh
It's a
man,
little different,
Yeah.
how was that?
That was intense, bro. It was just you learn to grow up fast. You experience
You
shit
had
a
no
lot
choice.
quicker.
Yeah.
You start making your own decisions and shit like that. So it's
Yeah.
just it was cool. It was fun.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah, I don't think
Makes sense.
I started making my own decision, which I'll go lead into like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
for sure.
the whole like so the experience of all that trauma, right? So
Yeah,
my parents are like dealing with the Cambodian refugees. They're not really, or the Khmer Rouge, and not dealing with their mental health. And at home, like, that was shown a lot.
Yeah.
So there's something called intergenerational trauma. So it's a trauma that the parents before you, that, you know, what they experience, they pass that down to their kids.
Intergenerational trauma.
Yeah. So like trauma between different generations.
Because they're passing their issues down over to. Okay.
So my parents showed what they experienced in different ways. And this was kind of in a way where, like, I was kind of growing up was like forced to be like this kid that has to be like protected and not shown around the world. So my mom, the way she would show her trauma was like any sudden sounds, she'll be like, what is that? What's that? So like a coin falls. So that kind of like,
it's kind of like PTSD.
PTSD.
Yeah, they're PTSD, but it's like different ways.
Wow.
Different ways. Yeah. Okay.
So with her, like any sudden sounds, it's like she's back at that time in that war. Like suddenly was like, what's going on? And it could be as simple as just like a penny being dropped.
Oh, sheesh.
My dad and hers, though it is bad, it wasn't as, I would say, severe as my dad.
Oh, wow.
Because with my mom, like, in a sense, like, I could have a relationship with her. Like, we could talk. Like, you know, I could tell that she loved me. Like, you know, she genuinely would show it besides cooking the food.
Yeah.
With my dad, he was never, like, present in a sense. Like, like he's physically, he was present, but mind-wise, mine was gone. Because he'll have days where he'll just go at it about what happened in the past. And as I was younger, I was like, what's he talking about? Because he would legitimately be really vivid of what he saw, like all the deaths and all the stuff. Like even really recently, like he talks about this one individual over and over where he saw this person fell and broke his neck and died.
Damn.
Like he says that constantly, and there's like
that's some traumatizing stuff, bro.
So you're growing up.
I can't imagine. Yeah, going through that.
Dude, that's what I dealt. I mean, till this day, I still live with it. But like for me now, I understand it more. But when I was younger, I was like, can you not say that stuff?
Yeah.
Because when you're in like a bunch of Americans is okay because like, oh, he's just gibbering.
Yeah.
But when you're around Khmer people, it's like, oh man, like
different.
why
it brings
is
back
this guy?
up a lot of
bad
memories.
Yeah, you think about it too. It's like when they came, you know, for us to finally realize what they're talking about, it's probably 5-6 years old, maybe, maybe even like 10 or 13 years when you're like in middle school.
Yep.
That's like 10 to 13 years of them either holding it in or not being able to express it and for us to understand, right?
Yeah.
Because we didn't understand like, oh, our parents came from the genocide. I don't think we realized that until we were in like middle school.
I think for me, even older.
Even high school.
Because
right?
honestly,
a lot of us
when I was younger, I think I purposely chose to like not want to hear it. Yeah. Because to me, I'm just thinking like, oh,
it's nothing.
They're just
oh, it's nothing.
Just,
yeah, you think it's nothing, right?
No,
like,
no. It was the same thing. It's like, oh, they're just being parents. They're just saying, they're just venting. It's like
you don't realize what they went through.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not until I got older, when I started doing my own research and stuff like that, then I'm like,
exactly.
Okay, now I understand.
Because to this day, it's hard for them to talk about it.
Right.
Till this day, like they don't openly speak about it.
Now that I think about it too, is like I remember when they would try to like, try to tell me some of the history, and I would just kind of like brush them off. And then now that I look back and I'm like, I feel so bad because they were already vulnerable, and when they want to share their story, they want us to hear because they want us to know what they're going through, and for us to just brush it off, and I feel like, damn, that hurts me to know that it hurts them.
Exactly.
But at the time I didn't know. I'm like, yeah, whatever, and I feel so bad now nowadays.
It was crazy. My mom actually told me a story just to veer off a little bit.
No, we're good.
Yeah, like it's crazy because when she told me, I was fucking mind blown, bro. Yeah. Because we was in the car, was getting our second dose of our vaccine.
Ago? Oh, this is recently.
Recently, like
a couple days ago
on Tuesday.
Okay.
So basically, she said, so the ones that came from my family is my mom, my aunt, and my sister. I mean, my mom, my aunt, my grandma. Yeah. Only those three that survived and came over to America. So basically, my mom and my aunt, they didn't really grow up together when they were kids.
Oh, really?
So basically, my aunt was living in Phnom Penh. My mom was living in one of the provinces with my grandma. And they normally don't see each other a lot. So basically, it was like New Year's because it was around April when all that shit happened, right? So New Year's came around. That day, my aunt and my mom went to go visit my grandma. And then the next day is when Khmer Rouge came in.
Oh, shit.
And then they were forced out together.
So, damn, that's like meant to be.
Think about it, bro. I was
crazy.
like, what the fuck?
Wow.
She never told me that before until we was in the car, we started talking about stuff. And then she told me about it. I was like, man, that's crazy. I was like, that was meant to be for
Yeah, it's meant to be.
the family to get together. Because I mean, without that, I would have been alive,
They
bro.
would have
Like,
been separated from each other. I mean,
Yeah,
and
bro,
who knows
it's-
what would have happened?
bro, crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
That's like, I mean, going back to what you're saying is like, how to get them to tell their story.
yeah.
It's not us choosing when to tell the story. It's when they choose. That's why,
Yeah,
like, for me, like
right.
growing up, I was like, I want to learn the history, and I was like, and me growing up had class project, which was like, all right, learn your family history.
Yeah.
So going up to my parents, I was like, oh, so, tell me about your family. Where'd you grow up? Like, why you want to know?
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden you want to know my history.
Oh, for real? That's like
Yeah, because they felt offended. It's like all of a sudden you want to know, because for them, well, then in a sense to me, I felt like it was the interrogation that they went through in the genocide.
Yeah,
it's like,
right.
it's kind of like that traumatic PTSD
Right,
experience, because I was like, oh shoot, like how do I answer this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, he's like, you're my son, so like I can fight against you.
Right.
So for me, it was like, oh man. So but then doing my work that I do right now, learning about people going through trauma, it's, if you want to learn their stories, you don't ask the question directly.
Yeah.
You kind of like go into touching their senses.
Yeah.
So if you want to know about, okay, for example, you want to know how your parents went through the Cambodian genocide, just like, so what was the sense of smell that you remember? What were some of the feelings you went through? And usually they could share that. But if you say, like, tell me all about it, they're like, I don't want to relive it.
That's very broad.
It's too much. They don't want to relive it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
So you would say like when you were younger and your parents was kind of, I guess they were sheltering you because they were scared, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but they didn't realize it was affecting you mentally,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I
And you
didn't
just-
realize it affected me mentally until, I mean, fast forward, like middle school was good. Like middle school, I loved it. Like I felt like I belonged. There's a lot, it wasn't that time where, me as a child, me as a young person, I needed to find my identity.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
people
'cause at that
always,
age you're not worried about that.
everybody's like trying to have fun, cool. But
Yeah.
do that quick transition from 8th grade to 9th grade, mind blown.
Yeah.
Like this is where everybody's trying to find who they are.
Right.
They're trying to fit
Yeah.
in certain places. And for me, growing up,
Yeah.
being the only kid that was really into rock music,
Yeah.
it was hard because a lot of my friends were into hip hop and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like I didn't care. Like for me,
Yeah.
it's like you're my friends. Like we've been
You
friends
don't
since-
judge.
Yeah, I don't judge.
Yeah.
But for me, it like the teasing, which I knew it was like a child thing, but
Yeah.
growing up in the household, like at home I'm already getting negative things. Like my parents would be like, oh, like you're small, like I don't think you're ever gonna get bigger.
Oh, what?
And my dad would be like you're nothing, you're no good, like
Oh,
you get that off
Bro,
your head.
when they say shit like that in Khmer, it sounds so dry
Yeah.
and like so aggressive, bro, right?
yeah, and it hurts your soul.
Hell
Bro,
yeah.
it's crazy.
You're like, man, I
But
just want
especially
love.
For
Cambodian
your
words
own
are
parent,
fucking
though.
dry
Your own
and
parents, though.
aggressive, man.
Yeah, so getting that from home, I was like, all
Yeah.
right, cool. Like, you know what? I'm gonna be great. Like I'm telling my head, like, I'm gonna be great. I don't care what my parents says. But then like the peers, it kind of in a sense,
Yeah.
they're teasing me in a way. Like I know it's just playful, but when you get that every day, it's like, oh man, you're the weird kid.
Yeah.
Like you listen to rock music. What's up with that? Like why are you?
But rock
just
rock
hating
was
shit,
it
huh?
was in back in the day.
Well, the
In middle
problem
school,
was he
it
was listening
it
to
was
rock
in.
music in the hood.
Yeah.
That was the problem.
I listen to
If
rock
he
music
wa-
in the hood too, though. I mean,
No,
you
no,
know,
it's different though. That was his life. Like,
Okay.
like emo music, right? You were-
Emo, screamo, post-hardcore.
yeah.
And there was a lot of like, stigmatizing of those that listen to it.
yeah.
For me, like, I didn't think people would take it to the extreme. Like, it got bad one day where, like, so I'm Buddhist,
Yeah.
we are.
you know, like, and Buddhists have like a totally different belief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess certain people growing up in America, like there's this Christianity where it's like, all right, there's only heaven and hell.
Yeah.
So when people find out listen to rock music, they would think of to the extreme.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're making all religious.
The
Yeah,
extremists.
because they thought of Slipknot and all this stuff. I'm like, and I didn't listen to them at the time. I
Yeah.
do now because they got me into it. But before I was like, nah, those dudes are scary. But they would say, it's like, yeah, you're a devil worshiper. You're a bad person. You're gonna go to hell. I'm like, my people don't believe in that. Like
Yeah,
my
yeah.
people believe it. Like if I do
Yeah.
good in life, I
Yeah.
get reincarnated to something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
reincarnation and karma and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I'm like I don't understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But it got bad where, I mean, one day after school, like, I don't know why, but this kid really did not like me, and they would take this water bottle, right, and they would bless me.
What?
Get the fuck
Yeah,
out of here. Where
not-
at Poly?
Yeah, right after school, like right after we get out of class, like
Wait,
I'm-
damn, this was in high school.
yeah, dude.
No way,
This is
bro.
where I was like,
What kind of people is this?
oh man,
I wish I knew them. Or I mean, like, they,
Fellas, I wish I would have joined in.
No, I wish they would have done it to me.
This
I mean,
asshole. Just
I
kidding.
meant like I
was
wish
just
they
playing,
would have
yeah.
done it to me.
Oh yeah, that's what they were
the fuck?
doing to me. Like, and
Damn,
that wasn't
bro.
the first time. I'm like, okay, like
But this is someone like you knew like
not like
personally?
I knew like closely,
Mhm.
but they were in the circle, and like their friends kind of let that happen.
And
So
you're
they
you're
were-
naturally not a
So they were part of the group of
not
friends.
a fighter. Like you don't want to fight people.
I didn't want to fight because for me,
Yeah,
I was like-
because
I
you're
was
more you're not that type of person.
Not,
you know.
not worth it.
like, not worth it. Like
But
this
so
is
so
what-
but this person was in your group of friends though.
yeah,
Oh,
See,
what a
it'd be the
asshole.
closest ones to you, bro.
they do.
It'd be the closest
So
ones.
that was the first.
Ah.
That was the first thing.
and that was in high school, right?
That was in high school.
But he was
Yeah.
only doing it to you and not
Yeah,
to
yeah.
anyone else.
Yeah, no one else. It was just me because like I was an easy target. Like I said, like
When-
they,
Man.
when did you feel like what age did you feel like you were like, oh shit, like I'm a target? You know what I mean?
I definitely felt,
For bullying, right? That's bullying, bro.
I like definitely it was. I mean, well, actually, it was middle school.
Middle school.
So, I mean, I shared before. There's like I love running.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
in middle school, like we had like you could run more than a mile, right?
Yeah.
And I would do that because I love running. Like
Yeah.
you know, like some kids would just be like, all right, I'm gonna do a mile. I'm tired. I'm gonna walk. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's your thing.
Yeah.
I want to
You
run
do
as
you.
much as I can for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Damn.
I'm
Okay.
trying to run like for 20 minutes. I'm trying to get 3 miles. I've only got like
Damn.
2 miles and a half.
Okay.
That's aggressive, bro.
That
is aggressive.
I love running.
There you go.
Shit, okay.
So I remember one day like these two Cambodian friends at the time, or at least I thought they were friends, but after the incident,
Damn.
they're not friends anymore. Cause like we would joke around that we were like they were gonna jump me. And this actually happened. So like when we were in class, we were running around. So this is at Franklin Middle School, and we're running around, right? So right when we got to the lockers, right? So like I beat them, so I lapped them, right? So right when I lapped them, like I was kind of ahead of them a little bit. One of them bum rushed me from behind
What?
and pushed me to the gates, and they just start like whamming at me.
Damn.
Fucking
Yeah,
bitches, bro.
they just start whamming. I'm like, why are they beating me up? Like for me, it's like I
For no
never hurt
reason?
them. I never did anything to them before. I'm like, why are they
Assholes,
jumping
bro.
me?
Those are straight bullies.
You know,
right there.
sometimes you just don't
Assholes.
understand why people do shit like that, bro. It's just like
Mhm.
fucking
Never understand.
dummies.
So that was my first experience of like, in a sense, getting jumped.
yeah.
And then in high school, same situation in a sense where I was one of the top runners in my PE class.
Yeah,
Like I enjoyed it because I felt like this was one of my strengths in life.
Yeah.
Because every time we had the mile run, like there's always these individuals that want to race against me. And for me, it's like, I just want to improve my time. But like there
Yeah.
was always this like people wanted to make sure
Yeah,
like
yeah, they're
I
just
never get
tryna-
first.
Yeah.
Because if they didn't try to like race me, they would never get first. So I'm the reason why I motivated them. So there was one guy
That's good.
that I really didn't talk to, but we were kind of like okay.
Mhm.
So I was walking to the car to get picked up by my dad, and it was kind of raining, so it was kind of like muddy where I was walking in the grass. And he bum rushed me from behind. So this is back in the days when we had those MP3 CD players.
Yeah.
So I'm walking
The
around,
Walkman CD player.
Yeah.
Those are the days.
Homeboy tried to rob me for that.
Ah.
And I hold on to that. I hold on to it, and then like I flew in the air and I fractured my wrist, but still holding on to my seat.
Yeah,
like,
you're like,
this is my
fuck
life.
it.
This
I'm
is
never
my
gonna get
world.
another
Whenever
one.
it happens, you still holding on to the CD
Yeah,
player.
and then he looked at me weird. I'm like, why are you looking at me weird? You're trying to jump. You're trying to jump.
You trying to jack my shit?
Yeah, so I fractured my wrist,
Fuck.
but I didn't know I fractured because for me I was like, all right, maybe it's just
It's
a sprain.
adrenaline, yeah.
It's just some pain.
So like, I back in the days when we had cell phone just started up. So like,
Yeah.
I had a friend that had the cell phone. So I called my parents. I was like, look, come to like
Yeah.
don't come pick me up yet. So I'm like, all right, let me just give it an hour because being in beach, you get out like 1:40. So technically, the whole school gets out at 2:40. So I'm like, all right, give me an hour. So like, let this like kind of like reside.
Yeah.
It didn't reside. But I let it like just be fractured for
'Cause you
a
didn't-
week.
Yeah.
I was like it's
Well.
just temporary. And then one day, like, I was like, oh man, this hurts too much.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
went to the
checked out.
family doctor. Like, all right, we'll X-ray it.
Yeah.
Got fractured.
Jeez.
I was pissed.
Did
I was pissed not
Damn.
because I got robbed, because I wasn't gonna run for a while.
but you're
yeah. Did you tell your parents about you going
Nah.
through all that?
I I just lied.
You just lied.
So like when they found like, oh, well, why you fractured wrist? I was like, oh, I was playing basketball and I thought it was too cool.
Yeah,
I jumped in the
yeah.
air and I landed wrong.
Damn.
And I said that to the doctor, so I just like had that story.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I didn't want to tell him like, yeah, some dude tried to jump me
Yeah.
or try to rob me, and it didn't work in his favor. So you should be happy that he didn't take my MP3 player. But your son is now.
You think it would have been better if you actually just told your parents,
Probably.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think they would definitely yell at me, but I
That's-
don't.
yeah.
But I think they would shelter me even more.
Yeah, that would
They would
worse.
probably every day yell.
They're like,
at me.
no,
Yeah.
you're not good. You're not
Yeah,
going
you
out.
can't go. I was
You're
like,
not-
like,
Yeah.
like they'll probably like, all right, before I used to pick you up here,
Uh-huh.
now I'm picking you up right here.
Right in
Yeah,
front of
yeah.
the school.
Or I'm going to meet you at the gate. So I
Yeah.
make sure like you are not going to encounter anyone.
Yeah,
So yeah, so that was like, okay, I'm a target.
yeah,
I
yeah.
already knew I was a target and everybody's kind of like teasing me or whatever. And then it's just another moment was like in freshman year, I remember a friend at the time, like she had a picture of me and her, and she showed it to her cousin. I was like, oh, and then her cousin says, oh, I think he's cute. I'm like, oh shoot,
Yeah,
my first
Oh.
girlfriend.
Oh.
yeah,
And my friend, instead of saying, I was like, oh yeah, I want to hook you up with my cousin, you know, see what
Yeah,
she does,
yeah.
like, because I think you're a good person. She's like, I don't know why she like you. I think you're ugly. I was like, what the heck?
What?
I was like, what the heck? I was
Asshole.
like,
Yeah,
wait,
it's
like, are you for real? Like, you're joking, right? And
Yeah.
no, but she was for real. I was like, yeah,
What?
I don't think you're attractive. I'm like, I never said anything bad about you. And you're gonna do this.
Is
I'm
that even
like,
necessary?
So I was like,
So
okay.
it's not about you. It's about the other girl.
I guess.
Yeah.
And so that to me
Jeez.
added another layer where I was like, oh, do people think I'm ugly?
You
you start
Yeah,
questioning
I
yourself?
start questioning because like
man.
it's that slowly of like, dang, I'm getting be rejected like
yeah.
to a lot of spaces. So I'm getting that like constant. It's like dang, like I don't have a space to belong. Like I'm getting
Yeah.
lonely, and that's when like sophomore year, where it's like it was kind of like the final trigger.
Yeah,
I mean, before this, weirdly enough, I was thinking about suicide in a sense. But
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking like
Just
I'm
like
gonna do it.
Freshman in high school?
Yeah, freshman, because like the
Yeah.
first thing I started doing was like with lead pencils.
Uh-huh.
In class, I would start like stabbing myself a
Oh,
little
fuck.
bit, just to like I was like, if I was to go out, can I like? Because you always hear about people cutting their wrists. So I'm like,
Yeah.
like, would that be something I would be able to do?
you already thinking about that.
Yeah, I'm already thinking about, but I'm like in my head,
Yeah.
it's like, but I'm like, I don't want to do this. Like, I'm not gonna do it. So I was like, after realizing, nah, pain is not the way I want to do.
Yeah,
Then later on in that freshman year, I was like, okay, a lot of stuff happened again. I'm feeling a certain way. I was like, all right, I'm in the in the medicine cabinet.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the pills, the Tylenol pills. I'm
Oh, shit.
like, okay, let me taste one.
the Tylenol pills.
Yeah. So I was like, and then I bit one. I was like, oh,
It's
I don't want to
nasty.
die tasting this flavor in my mouth.
yeah,
So I was like, all right. But that was kind of the end of it freshman year. I was like, all right.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about it. I was like, I'm gonna live my life. But then like all that stuff started, like,
yeah,
the effects of hearing that from home. And then sophomore year was no different. Like, I was still getting the whole thing. And I guess the final trigger was when there was a girl that liked the same music as me. I was like, okay. Because all the girls before that,
Yeah, yeah.
they were not into my music.
Yeah.
They're all into the hip hop. I'm like, your own flavor, but like I wanted a girl that like
Yeah, yeah.
similar music as myself.
Yeah.
So I asked her out, and she rejected me. And I was like, I'm used to rejection, but for some reason, this was like the final straw. where
But this
I
was
like,
that the same girl, the one that said.
no. This
oh,
is
a
a
different girl.
totally different girl.
Different
This
girl,
is a
yeah.
new girl that came to school. She definitely didn't look like she was from the hood.
Oh, okay.
she looked like, oh, okay, she's not. But yeah, like
she probably lives in Cerritos or something.
probably. Like, she was one of those living the good place.
Yeah,
Shit.
But
Lakewood.
yeah, she
Lakewood.
rejected me, and I was like, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's go.
No, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like for me that moment, I was like, all right, we're gonna do this. And I think that same day I had PE, and it was a swimming lesson.
Yeah,
So I was a beginner swimmer. So that day we had to practice holding our breath,
yeah,
and we were
Shit.
practice holding our breath. I was like, oh yeah, I think this is how to go. I think this is how I'm gonna go,
Oh.
because like for me it's like, all right, I wanted peace. So, like when I wanted to go, I wanted peace. So I was like, and I was holding my breath for like at least a minute or two. I was like, okay, we can do this.
yeah.
So that night, like, I was already set. Like, I did everything in, made sure people didn't know that I was
Oh,
going through
man.
stuff. So yeah, I went home, right at nighttime, where like everything was slowing down.
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
my dinner or whatever it is. My mom's watching her Thai movies and whatnot, like, and they're watching Wheel of Fortune. I started writing a letter.
Damn.
Yeah, I started writing a letter, and the letter, from what I remember, was kind of like apologizing to my parents, where I was like, hey, you know, I'm sorry I wasn't the child that you wanted. I did the best I could with, you know, what I can do, but that was not enough. Apologize to my siblings, where I was like, hey, because my siblings and I, we really didn't have a great relationship as well. Like, my sister left when I was a teenager, so we weren't that close.
Yeah.
And my brother was a knucklehead.
Yeah.
So like he was going through his own motions, so like we weren't really like cool as well. So I was just like apologizing to that, and then I put that under my pillow, so when they find me, like, you know, they're gonna search for something, and at least they have some closure.
Yeah, yeah.
So then I go to the bathtub, fill up the water to a certain way, like, you know,
Damn, bro.
close it. And I was making sure like I died peacefully. So like
Yeah.
right next to our bathtub, there's like a little like electrical plug.
Yeah.
So I was making sure nothing touches it, and like it was shocking.
Yeah.
Go in the
Yeah.
water and shocks me to death. I was like, I don't want any of that to happen.
Yeah, yeah.
So as the water, you know, got to a certain point where it's enough, I was like, okay, I think that's enough where I could just drown in there. So I did my last, like, whatever was a prayer. I was like, all right, cool, this is it. So I jumped, you know, I slowly got into the water, like sinking slowly and slowly. And then when my whole like head was in the water, everything just went black.
Yeah.
Like,
Damn.
Like I was just like, okay, I'm ready to go. And the darkness was kind of peaceful.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, okay, this is what like I was looking for a long time, like this peace, because like I wasn't hearing like feeling rejection. And as I was doing like, and I was ready to like, all right,
Yeah.
I think I'm getting there. I think I'm ready to go to the next life.
Jeez.
I hear a voice, and the voice was like, kind of like saying, hey,
Yeah.
Sambo.
Oh,
And then
man.
like in my head, I was like, who the heck are you? Like, what do you want? And they're like, I know you're hurting, man. I'm like, yeah, so what? He's like, I know you're hurting, and what you're going through is kind of part of the, like, this is not like actually what was said, but from what I felt from the conversation, it was kind of like, I know what you're going through. It's a painful experience, but one thing you haven't done yet is your purpose in life. Like after this, if you do choose to get out of what you're doing right now, you'll start your journey and find your purpose. Like
Absolutely.
and I'm like, that's the answer I kind of needed. Like, okay, I thought for a minute where I was like, do I want to continue doing this?
Yeah,
and then the voice just
That's
kept
why you're still in the water.
yeah, I'm still in the water.
Damn.
This whole
That's
conversation
crazy, bro.
felt like 5 minutes, but I think it was probably like 2 minutes. But it was
Yeah.
like this whole conversation with myself that's kind of saying, it's like, no, there's something more for you,
Yeah.
and you'll see it starting tomorrow.
This was like maybe like your subconscious just speaking to you.
Mhm.
It for sure.
Wow.
It for sure is your subconscious. I think it's a very
That's crazy.
spiritual thing for sure.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Like, that's where I slowly started becoming more spiritual, and like,
yeah.
I mean, before that, like, you know, growing up Buddhist, I just did the things just to
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
it.
Just to
But
do
then-
it because we thought it was just, you know.
It's crazy how like your mind kind of just knows what, like, you know, like your mind understands your body. So when your body is in the water and like it's going to that, I
Yeah.
think something is telling your mind like, you know, like, no, this cannot
Yeah.
be happening. You know.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I think the
Oh,
big,
man,
the
that's
big,
crazy.
the key thing you said was you were finally at peace, and it was black.
yeah.
Because when you were awake, you were just thinking about all this stuff. So you never gave your mind time to just stop thinking about all that shit
Right.
to help yourself see clearly, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I think just that 5, 10, 20,
think
30
that's-
seconds
I
that
think
you
that's
got,
absolutely what happened, man.
yeah, you were able to like, oh shit, like you don't need this, right?
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's you just needed that emptiness for a little bit.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right, just nothing, just like no voices, no nothing. I think
Yeah.
that was the biggest thing for you, bro. I think that's
Yeah.
what saved you for
that
sure.
that
Yeah.
definitely is what saved me, because then like it kind of shocked me a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of like conversation shocked me. So I just jumped out of the water, and
Yeah.
like, I was like, I had like this big, and my mom was
Oh,
like, "What's going
shit.
on?"
Hey,
Like you made a loud
Hey.
noise.
Yeah, because like
I'm
it was
glad
pretty loud.
you
Yeah.
didn't go through with it,
Oh,
bro.
Oh
thanks,
man,
man.
seriously, brother.
Come
Hey
on,
man,
man.
seriously, brother.
Thank you,
For real,
thank
Yes,
bro.
dude.
I'm glad you didn't go
That's
through with it,
crazy,
for sure.
man. I'm glad
100%.
you woke up from it, man, and
Oh yeah, man.
No.
I'm glad to
made that
like,
decision.
yeah, I'm really glad that they went through because that experience kind of like led my journey of like there is a possibility for
Yeah.
those that have gone to that really dark place. Like,
Yeah.
if you are, for me, it's like if you have really gone to that dark place and you are still searching to survive and live and find meaning in your life, it's
Mhm.
there. And for me, as a person that has gone through that, I was like, hey, I still live with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still looking ways to like cope with it because it's something that if it's a battle every day.
Yeah, it's a
sometimes.
battle,
Yeah,
yeah,
because
bro.
there's certain
It doesn't
days where
just go
like
away.
I don't want to die, but there's
Yeah.
a days where like the thoughts are there. I was like, all right, I thought we're over this, but then it's still like
Yeah.
remembering all that.
Yeah.
It sucks that that like that's what it took for you to kind of snap out of it and kind of for you to be able to grow from there. But I think like that was kind of meant to be.
Yeah.
Even though it took something that horrible for it to happen, but it
Yeah.
all makes sense though. So
Yeah.
that's good that you kind of. I mean, it's not good that you went through that, but it's good that you did go through that because that
Well,
changed your
have
life.
to.
Yeah,
You have to.
So
Yeah.
I think I think I think it's very key, man. Like
Yeah.
just stop searching
mhm.
for that thing that's gonna fix you.
yeah,
Just allow yourself to just stop thinking. You know what I mean?
You know
Mhm.
that you bring that's like in a sense like how I live my life too. Like what
Yeah.
you're going to is like for me it's
good.
like it's like when people like tell me it's like, oh, you got to put like certain goals and like you just go after it.
Mhm,
Like
mhm.
for me it's like how I live a world is like there's certain things that I dream and I vision that I put out there,
Absolutely.
but it's the world gives it to me if I did if it does it, it's kind of like I get to practice and learn
Yeah.
and realize like, oh, it doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
for me it's like it's kind of like a balance. It's like you're kind of talking about, I wasn't listening to my mind.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
I was more controlling my body of just doing
Right,
things. So
right,
the
right.
moment like I paused and I just like went with the flow and like made sure the
Mhm.
communication was together with my mind and my body,
Mhm.
it was like, no, you're not meant to die.
Yeah.
Right,
Like
right,
you got
right.
you got something to do. And it is what I've been doing now, which is I've been more a big advocate of like
That's
going,
awesome,
going
man.
to what we were talking about is like, so why did I post this thing that was back in September?
Yeah. Yeah.
So back in September, I didn't know it was Suicide Awareness Month, and it was really great me seeing a lot of people post that because like
Yeah,
for me, like
yeah.
as a person, like, oh yeah, people are like,
Other
saying-
people have gone through it too,
Yeah.
and you're not the only one.
well, that's the thing, all the people that were posting it, maybe they have, but the way they were posting, I think they were doing it
Oh, okay.
in a way to just spread the awareness
Right,
because
right, right.
there's probably like someone close that may have gone there but not haven't. But for me, I was like okay, and kind of like the work I do, it's you can share certain stories about something that may be happening to a certain community,
Yeah.
but unless you have that actual like image of that person that's actually telling it, it kind of doesn't do much.
Yeah.
Facts.
So for me, like I was allowing it all to happen. I was like, all right, cool, yeah, and I kind of shared here too. I think I shared. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But what triggered me was when one person posts around that time to, I think, kind of spread the awareness. They put a post that says, "I'd rather hear your story than go to your funeral."
Oh
And
yeah.
that triggered
I've
me.
seen that before.
Seen that, bro.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So
That's a
that-
powerful statement.
See, I think a lot of people see it positive. For me, I don't see it as
You don't see
like,
it as positive?
because for me, it's like as a person. So before that,
Yeah.
I think I've shared it a few times. Like I was hurting or whatever it is.
Uh-huh.
And for me, it's like, what if I was that person that's been telling my story so much time that I'm hurting and I'm like, I'm going to you and I'm asking for help,
Yeah.
and I'm always like, doors closed. Because
Yeah.
I for me, like, I didn't go into it. Like, I kind of, in a sense, told people, like, I'm hurting.
Yeah.
Back when AIM was popular, there was
Yeah,
like
yeah,
chat
yeah.
rooms. So I was telling people, like, yeah, I'm hurting. Like, like,
Yeah.
people are
So
teasing
you
me.
were honest with it.
I was
with your
very
friends?
honest what
You
I
were
was going
talking
through.
about
Yeah,
it?
I was
Okay.
talking about, like when people says like, talk about it and blah, blah.
But so you talk about it with your friends. Did you speak about it with your family? Oh?
No.
No. Okay.
See,
Just
like-
because it's that language barrier. Because growing
Yeah.
It's
in
hard to
the
explain
house,
it.
it's hard to explain. And then even if I was explaining, my parents would be like, "You're stupid. Like,
Yeah.
why are you talking about
Yeah.
like that?" I was like,
That's true.
I was like, your job is to take care of me.
Yeah.
So so it's all that.
That's crazy because, like, in high school, I mean, we know each other. We've had a lot of the same classes and stuff. I mean, I knew you were different. I mean, but everybody was different.
Yeah. Everyone's different in their own way.
But with me, it was like, I don't have that ill will in my heart to look down on people. So we've always had a good relationship.
Yeah.
I would say I've never seen somebody try to do something. I wish I did. I would definitely did something and
Hell
fucking
yeah.
had your back 100%. But yeah, man, it's just like it's just it's you could be that close to somebody and not know what they're going through, you know, because you might not feel that way towards somebody, but it's just like, damn, like people are going through it, man.
Mm-hmm.
And like you were sitting next to me, bro, and you wanted to take your life in 10th grade, and I didn't know. Nobody knew, you know. So it's like it's
everyone
crazy.
deals with their own battles and their own demons, but you know, and everyone always tries to hide it from other people because, you know, that's just the way it is.
I think from that experience is like something that I kind of gain out of it is like anyone that kind of like feels lonely or nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
A part of my body feels that.
Yeah.
Right? Like so for me, automatically, like when some people are like, oh, I don't even notice that person going down. I'm like, there's something.
You can feel it, huh?
I could feel it, and like, and the way, and for me, what I've learned is like, you just don't ask the person how are you doing.
Mm-hmm.
You ask them series of questions like, hey, so like, have you eaten today? What's one good thing that happened to you this week, or any challenges? So it's really getting deep into the questions and getting into to like see is like. Because I think for me, if a person that's has gone through so much trying to share it with like their personal group, because this is the thing, I don't blame people because some people don't know how to support somebody that's going through something because we never really practiced that.
They've never dealt with
they
it.
never dealt with it, and we don't really have that.
They don't talk about it in school.
Talk about school. We don't have those set of questions how to ask the person. It's just kind of more like the generic of like just ask the person how they're doing. I'm like, that is a good start.
Yeah.
But that's also how, at least I think in society, how we have like conditioned a way to answer that is like, you can be really real and say your whole story, or you can just be like, you know, you don't want to be bothered and just say, okay, I'm good. Yeah. Because, and I think that's what a lot of people have been conditioned. So like, I think for us to generally, if we are worried about somebody, is being comfortable to asking those bunch of questions. I mean, it's not directly like, are you thinking about you lose your life? Or taking your life?
I mean,
Oh, because you see somebody with the symptoms, but you're pretty much just kind of asking questions about those and kind of validating those. Because people, if somebody's going through that, they're probably not eating.
They're probably not eating.
They're not having a good day. They're probably
they're lost in your thought. I could tell.
I
could tell. Like I would also. I was like, you know, it's like you're not really like
yourself.
Not. I wouldn't say you're not yourself. I would just say like. You're not really present. Like you're not like you're not like looking
you're not
at
present
it.
Right now.
Like I see you like I see you like spacing out. Like you know, is everything good? And me noticing that, I mean, we're gonna jump back and forth. Like I work with youth, and I've had some youth that have like they're not thinking about taking their life. But like also like me learning about working with youth is like they are in a, especially high school students, that they're in an interesting time in life where like they don't know what's at their high school.
Right. Yeah.
So there's kind of like some of them feel like that's the end at their high school because like a lot of their friends that they grew up since they're little are gonna like go somewhere far.
They're all
going to different schools.
So
or
there's that fear and then like, and I've had a few students that would come to me and like they would say that I was like, it doesn't sound like you want to take your life though. Like no. I was like, they're like, I don't think so. I was like, I don't think you are. Because to me, I guess going through it, there's a sense of like, I don't know. It's like there's like a commitment.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like with these young people, they're just like, I'm trying to navigate life, and all these things that were thrown at me are not giving me to where I need to be. And just be like, okay, let me be with your feelings right now.
Yeah.
Like, what are you feeling? I feel lost. I'm like, why? Like, how did you get to feeling lost? I was like, I haven't really planned out my life. Like I haven't really like, I thought about college, but I don't know where to go to college. I'm like, let me talk about your interests with me. Like, what are you into? And so it's like, it's going through building and like getting the company, like, and being an adult. That's not just saying you just got tough enough. I was like, no, I understand. You're feeling a lot of things. Let me listen to you. Let me at least, since we have like 30 minutes, let me try to get it out. And then if we need to, if you want to, we can set up more times to continue these check-ins so you can feel that.
That's good.
Because adults normally just tell kids, you're tripping.
You're tripping. You don't
suck
know.
it up. Toughen up.
You don't know life.
You don't know
what I've been through, and they're like,
you haven't been through anything yet.
And working.
See, that's horrible, man. That's a horrible mindset to have because you never know what someone's going through. And not only that, but when they're at that age, they don't know anything. So
they don't have a lot of
They
life.
don't have-
They don't
they
have the
don't have
life
the-
experience.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's the thing that we want to teach them. Like, you know, I guess what you guys are doing, which is helping us share our stories. Like,
Right.
I'm pretty sure they've gone to similar stories of life. So like they hear
Yeah.
stories. I was like, oh, Sambo went to the same like journey in life with me. It's like, and if he's able to make it,
Right.
Yeah.
maybe I can
And
do
overcome it. And,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's the goal, you know. The goal is to teach and kind of expose the things that we've learned, because we really learned all this shit kind of on our own.
Yeah.
Right? Well, you
Right.
went through
Yeah.
this shit on your own.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And for you to go through that journey and to keep it to yourself, I think it would be selfish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
I think it'd be more useful to just, you know, let everybody know about it, share your story, because somebody, that one person, you can just put it out there. That one person that hears it might be the one that needs to hear it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. I think
Yeah,
what you're
absolutely.
touching upon, Danny, where it's like this generation has a lot of resources to
Right.
have a better future than our
Than our generation.
our
Yes,
generation.
absolutely.
And for us, it's like it's so plenty.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's just now like, how can we give the resources to them and like help them make use of it? Because I feel with a lot of the younger generation that I've come across with, they generally want to continue our history.
Yeah.
They generally want to, like, I want to learn what my grandfather went through. I want to learn
Yeah.
what my parents went
Yeah.
through. It's just like, but I don't know how to like start. And it's like, well, there's this. You want to volunteer here? Oh, there's
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. Facts.
So there's so many different things. So like this generation generally wants to like, I've heard so much
Yeah.
pain
Yeah.
from the previous generation. I was like, I don't want that to be just what the Cambodian community is known for
Yeah.
anymore. Like, I want us to share the good stuff that we
Yeah,
have. which
exactly.
We have.
Right.
And I think till this day, I still have that hunger
Yeah.
to learn about our culture, to learn about our history, because there's really nobody to teach us that.
Yeah.
We can only go online, but there's so much
And learn
information
yourself,
online.
Yeah.
We need like a historian to come out here and hold a fucking seminar
Yeah.
for all of us to go there.
I'll go to it.
I'll go to that shit, bro.
Hey, I'll go
I'll
there
pay
too.
for it too. We have
set
somebody
up,
just
man.
come out here like,
Let's set it
hey,
up, bro.
Let's do
set
it.
Let's
Let's
set up a
we gotta
seminar.
find somebody out there in Cambodia to do that, to bring them
Come
down
on.
here.
Nah, to tell you,
Now, there's people out here.
There's a lot of people out here. It's so this is the thing. Just being in the community and working for a while, there are so many people that have that information, that knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so
True.
it's being able to organize this event to like make it happen.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you want to, like, okay, you want a person that wants to talk about, like, one thing that I want us to eventually start sharing is like that timeline of like Cambodians growing up in the 90s.
Yeah.
Because most of our history is from 1975
Yeah.
to 1980, but
Yeah.
it's nothing about what we grew up in the 90s, like how gang
Like
violence was.
post
violence.
the post era.
Yeah.
Post-era, our generation.
Our generation.
You know?
And it's going to come up. I think we're going to probably start it, but like it's
Yeah.
that. It's like there's these Cambodians that are like, we understand that our parents, you know, and our previous generation have gone through a lot
Yeah.
where they can't be able to share the history. But for us, like, we're able to like capture these stories in a certain way.
Yeah.
Like, for me, like with my dad and my
Right,
parents
right.
with the PTSD, what he's sharing about like the experience he lived through the genocide is like, this is what he saw. Like
Yeah.
what you hear about and all these other stuff, like that is very real.
That is real.
And they are not crazy. It's just like
Yeah.
that's their way of being storytellers.
But people
Yeah.
not understanding the history or the story would see it like, oh, this person's crazy. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
So
So that's why it's our job as that next generation to kind of teach the history and teach the culture and continue bringing up the awareness so people can understand, like, yeah, you know, they're not crazy. They've gone through some shit.
we need somebody to take charge on that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
get somebody to take charge on that. hey, Sambo.
Yeah.
He got some bow time.
plenty of time.
Some boa time.
Yeah, man.
yeah.
It's
So
true.
I guess I'm going back to the that post that
Yeah,
says,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I'd rather hear your story than your funeral or
Yeah.
go to your funeral. For me, I was like, well, then I'm already dead, because like, what if I'm the person that's been telling it so much, and then you finally hear about it,
But who's listening?
and then yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I tell you,
yeah.
and then you're like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
But don't die. I'm like, really?
Okay.
The help?
Okay.
For me, it's that's
Gee,
so
thanks.
so after my experience in high school, I started to open a lot more about that in college, where like my circle of friends, and I tried to share that with them.
Okay.
I'm like, oh yeah, like when the topic came out, I was like, yeah, I tried to take my own life, and they're like, really? Like, yeah. And they're like,
They were surprised.
they were surprised, but I didn't feel like
They kind of
brushed it off. And for me, like that's how I like. And then for me, that realization is like, well, it's not that it's, they need to hear that. It's like my story is meant for someone else.
Yeah, exactly. It's not for them.
Yeah. For me,
Right.
and then
That's facts,
That's
bro.
facts right there, bro.
That is key.
Yeah.
Say that one more time,
God
bro.
Damn.
Go ahead.
my story is not meant for them. It's meant for someone else.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that moment
Absolutely.
came that September. So when I legit
Last year.
last year.
So that moment, that was that moment.
Yeah, that
you
moment.
realized, like, oh
I-
shit.
There was like this energy where I was like, like I see all this post and like it kind of like stirred like an energy in me. I was like,
you
what?
felt some type of way about
I
it.
felt some way because
Yeah.
I want to share my story. Like I'm just
Yeah.
gonna put it on the universe. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm just
Fuck
gonna
it.
put it out.
Yeah.
Do it.
So I wrote that whole detail, my situation.
Yeah.
Like, I went and I got bullied, got rejected.
Wait, so you made a post about this?
Yeah, I made a
Yeah, he
post.
posted on
Wow.
Facebook.
Posted on
I remember that.
Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
And I posted that like full on detail.
Okay.
I put it with like an image of a bathtub, the
Oh,
bathtub that
shit.
looked just like it. So like people know like this is what it looked like. This was my
Wow.
supposedly how I was gonna like pass away.
Before you even
How
posted,
I was gonna take it.
before you even posted it, was there a time where you like, no, I shouldn't post it. I should post it. No, I shouldn't post it.
It took me about a week.
Oh,
But for
okay.
me, I was
Wow.
like, so I was like, but the whole time I was writing, I was like, regardless if I don't post it on, I'm gonna write it because for me,
Okay.
it was kind of a healing. Because for me,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
like
Mhm.
I've always kind of slightly talked about, it, but I never talked about it in detail. So I was like, let me
Okay.
just put it into detail, and I just put it out to the world, and oh my gosh,
Was it a well? Before you tell us about some of the reactions, but was it a relief for you?
it was
personally?
a relief. It was a relief because I was able to. Because before, like I said, like I always shared it, but I never shared in detail.
Yeah, yeah.
But for me now, like I have a frame to like share my story. Like it's like how I shared with you guys earlier.
That was detailed, bro.
hell
Duh,
yeah.
yeah.
I was
For
in
sure.
there with you, bro.
Hey, bro, you should.
I was in there with
like
you.
a book, bro, because you're very detailed. So like like when you read books, everything is so detailed.
I literally like saw
'cause
the
you-
bathtub, bro.
I
I'm not even lying.
am pictured in my head that
Yeah.
when you're sharing the details.
So that's a little bit of thing that like for me, I slightly got into writing and stuff like that, poetry, and like I write all that stuff. And like my poetry that I write is how I would say like it's unfinished conversations because a lot of the pieces I have is like it's these moments that I want to tell somebody, but I always get cut off.
Yeah.
Like, there's like I never really get to finish. So like how I finish it through my writing is like, well, I'm gonna talk about this. Like, oh, this is what I really trying to explain to you,
Yeah.
but you didn't listen, so I did that. So yeah, going back to that, I was like, when I posted it,
Mm.
I wasn't really thinking much about it.
Yeah, yeah.
I was
Alright,
like, okay, I'll
okay.
touch the few that posted. It's like, oh, they're like the people
Okay.
that know me, like, oh, whoa, thank you for sharing.
Okay.
Nah, like I've had like different kind of responses. Some people were worried. I was like, is he thinking about taking his own life? I'm like,
Okay.
did you read my piece?
I know. Did you even read it?
like it said back in sophomore year, and I'm doing this as suicidal awareness. I was like, hey, I am
Yeah.
a survivor. I
Yeah,
went
yeah.
through it. It's a possibility. So there was that. I mean, not surprised because like it's a long
Yeah,
post.
yeah, of
Like,
course.
no one got no time to read to like
Sometimes,
several
yeah.
paragraphs. So I got that, and I got other people that were like, yo, I had someone that lost their life. Like you're kind of like that closeness of giving me closure.
Damn.
Wow.
It's like I like the way you posted is like I saw and heard what they kind of went.
She gave me
through.
goosebumps,
Wow,
bro. High
man,
key.
I know. That's
And-
Gave
crazy.
me goosebumps.
So after that, like I got an opportunity to be a keynote speaker for an event.
Somebody reached out to you about
Yeah,
that?
yeah. So it was a colleague that I had like in the field of work.
That's
And
cool.
she was hosting an event for like a suicide awareness. So he's like, hey man, do you want to be a keynote speaker? I'm like, yeah, sure. I'm not thinking much about it. I was like, yeah, sure. I was like, what do you want? He's like, just how you guys are just telling me to tell myself. I was like, okay, that's it.
Yeah.
Hey, we're like, hey, you want to come on the podcast? Yeah.
I was like, yeah,
No
sure.
happens.
Like, you know, I'm not really thinking much about it. I was like, yeah, cool, whatever.
Yeah.
So for that one, I was like, that was another moment. So I was letting people know, like, yeah, I'm gonna be a keynote speaker. It's gonna happen this and that.
Yeah.
And same thing with me putting that post. I was like, all right, cool. So this is the whole pandemic, so it's all virtual. So I wrote it all out on a note, like a little notepad. I was like, all right, cool. So I had 20, 30 minutes to talk about it. So I laid it all out. So I told the story about, my parents, You know, like I already showed you
Yeah,
guys,
yeah, of
like,
course, of
all
course.
that detailed, and it's like putting all out. And I was just pretty much telling people like, yeah, I didn't want to try to die, but it got to me to that level. And then the moment I realized, okay, this story that I'm carrying is now to help other people.
Right.
Yeah.
And
right.
it's really to talk about mental health, where I was like, hey, we all hurt in different ways. Like sometimes when we hurt to the point where like, yeah, we feel like we have no other options. And everybody hurts in the, like, everybody's story of hurt, maybe like, you know, some people are very judgmental, whereas I was like, that's nothing. But for me, it's like, for that person, especially a young person, it's like, that's the most hardest hurt they've had.
Yeah. That's the
So
beginning.
That's just the beginning, but like they don't know that because they think that's the end of it all. So for us,
they think that's the worst it can get. Yeah.
So for me, it's just like when you get there, like, yeah, you know, do what the advice has been mentioned.
Yep.
Reach out to someone close to you, but
Yeah,
also I
facts.
want to share people's like, even though you're sharing your story to the people that are close to you, they may not give you the resources you want.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's the thing is having the ability to share that story.
To share it. Yeah.
So once you share that person to that individual or whoever it is, the next step is like, okay, if it's really hurting more and that didn't really help, be okay to seek a professional.
A professional, yeah.
Because a professional, like, their job isn't like, oh shoot, like, all right, this person sounds like they're gonna lose their life, I'm gonna like do this. Like, no, like, they want to hear your story. Like, maybe, you know, as I shared, it's like, it's a hurt that you don't know how to navigate, and they're like, let me give you the resources and get people comfortable. Like, hey,
it's crazy, bro. When you said, you know, this story is not meant for them, it's for someone else.
Yeah.
I mean, that's true though, because people will talk about it all the time. And they tell people, they're like, man, nobody's listening to me, nobody cares. But it's like,
it's not for
it's
it's
not meant for
it's
them.
not for them. Yeah,
You're not gonna get the reaction you want from it because, I mean, that's meant for somebody else. Or, you know, I'm for you to come to that realization.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And like this later in life, though, right? Because it was just like last year, right?
Yeah,
that's when you came to that realization.
Yeah,
and it's like I'm pretty sure like you already went through your healing, all that stuff, and then, but when you. It was like a light bulb, huh? It's just like...
Yeah, it was a light bulb. Like, for me, like, it's like a lot of things I've done in my life where it's like... As I shared earlier, like, spiritual persons, like, it's kind of like having that feeling that's like, hey, this is time.
Yeah,
like,
boom.
do it. Like, boom. Like, so, like, I just got that energy. And so, it's those moments, like... It's feeling those energy that way is like, okay, it's time to do that. Like, jump for it.
Yeah.
And it's just going back to, like, you know... Sharing the stories, like it's like living life lessons. Like, you know, there's certain things that you're into.
Yep.
Like, for example, like I'm into Muay Thai kickboxing. I'm not gonna be great at first, but like that's part of the lessons. Like, you know, you're gonna fail so many times to get to where it needs to be. So that my stories, I was sharing it to so many different people, thinking like, okay, I share you my story. Like, all right, cool. Now we're good, right? Now you're gonna tell everybody that, you know, Sambo's a survivor. Put him on these stuff. No, it took a time. Like, for me, it's like, all right, I got to share to this person. I got to share to this person. I'm like, why isn't it working? I'm like, oh, let me put into detail, put into a specific event, which was that suicide awareness last year. Put that to the world. Person's like, oh, whoa, like you.
Like, this shit really happened.
This really happened. Like, you and putting that detail and putting that out, and they're like, oh.
Because people will downplay it. They're like, oh, everybody tried to, you know, blah, blah, blah. And it's crazy when you went to details about how, you know, you wanted to slit your wrists, how you wanted to taste Tylenol. I think, man, like, movies and media plays a big role in that. Like how would you know Tylenol can give you overdose?
No, that's the thing.
Right?
That's
how
the
would
thing.
you know slitting your wrist can kill you?
That's the thing. I didn't think about that. Like, I mean, it's media, it's people. And to tell you, like in high school, like, people told me certain ways to like be treated. And then like they would always joke like that was a way. It's like, I mean, I remember also another thing, like, people knew that I was in a sense bullied, and like, you know, when we grew up during the Columbine. Like, people always make fun. I was like, oh, don't piss Sambo off because he might shoot up the school. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm not even thinking about it. Like, for me, it's like, I'm just like, I'm going through bad stuff. Like,
yo, kids is crazy.
They said stuff like that to me, man. Like, there's so much bad stuff. I was like,
you know, like being bullied by like even like your own peers, like your friends, your group of friends, or even people from school and stuff like that. Like, I think that hurts a lot more than getting bullied by, like, let's say your older brother or like your mom and dad. Like,
like a random stranger
getting picked on by your close friends, I think hurts you even more.
Cause these are the people that you trust to have your backs.
Yeah.
Like you know, when you're having a bad day, like automatically know you're going down. It's like, oh, I'm gonna pick Sambo up.
Yeah.
Instead, it's like, nah, let's just keep on beating him up. Like hurting his feelings.
And like when you're down already, you're going through something, and then you know your friends are like, you know, picking on you and stuff like that. Man, like that's like the worst feeling to have. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, so right after right after I tried to take my own life back in sophomore year, like, so right after that happened, I woke up the next day. Yeah. For some reason, the world got brighter. Mm-hmm. But then I was walking around campus and like, for me now, like, I wasn't just focused on myself anymore. Like I was focusing on other people, and I going back to I felt people's sadness and whatever. Yeah. I was looking around. I was like, a lot of these people are sad because they're not being who they are. Yeah. And for me, the whole time I was just being myself. Yeah. I was a kid that listened to rock music. I was in my circles because like, hey, these are my friends. Like, I'm gonna stay true to who I am, and hopefully
you have to. You gotta stay true to yourself, man.
Yeah. But then for me at that time, like I was like I'm not gonna just like say like you guys suck. I mean, you guys love each other for a certain reason. For me, it's like, you know what, let me go find my own place. Yeah. So I isolated myself for a while because I'm like, let me find where I belong. Right. Yeah. So through
sometimes it takes that. It takes you to kind of step away and kind of figure yourself out.
Yeah, and that's what I did. It took a while, like to tell me, even after high school, like I still just kind of continue trying to figure myself. I was like, well, who do I belong? Yeah. What do I? Yeah. Who am I?
See, like for me, it was like I always felt like I tried to like tell myself like, no, I'm not sad, or I'm not going through this. I'm like, you always try to tell yourself like, no, I'm not weak. I'm not that guy. You know what I mean? But sometimes you have to accept that, like, you know what, I am going through something. I gotta either talk to other people about it, or maybe just distance yourself and find yourself and stuff like that. But I think that's the first step, is just kind of accepting that you're going through something. That's the first step.
Yeah, acceptance is definitely important. Like the moment, at least for me, like if I accepted what was going on, I was like, this happened. Yeah. This is what I'm feeling.
This is the truth. This is what it is.
This is what it is. But how do I move on from this? Right. Because like these feelings are gonna like live for me for a while, for maybe the rest of my life. But like that's part of it. Yeah. And then I guess something that helped me out, which wasn't a person, it's the music. Yeah. So I shared with y'all, like, I love emo, post-hardcore, and all stuff like that. So I like the music not because of the sounds. I like the lyrics. So this is the type of person I am.
Can you relate to it?
I could relate to it because a lot of these bands that I was listening to, they were singing about heartaches. They were singing about being bullied. They were just singing about loneliness. Yeah, it was like the yelling.
They're just
the yelling.
That's the part of it.
The thing, it's funny because you guys mentioned the yelling. Because for me, like, I like the yelling because that's what I felt inside.
Releasing your rage.
So when these guys were like yelling, I was like, yeah, I feel that.
It. Oh yeah. Okay.
So for me, I was like, that's an emotion I felt, but I couldn't do that. I mean, for me, like, I felt like people closing me. These are certain feelings you can only express, and these guys are creating this music. Now it sounds great. Not only the lyrics are amazing, but they're expressing emotions that I felt when they were talking about like a girl breaking their heart. Like they were going to the extreme. I was like, I want to like cut myself. I want to like do some damage.
They were like.
So for me, it's like, I feel that same way. Like, damn, that thing hurts so much. We're like, I want to hurt myself, but I'm not gonna literally do it. But like that's what it feels like. Because if you told somebody like, oh yeah, my heart hurts. Some girl just broke me. Broke me. I was like, oh, that's cool. But if you told like, no, like. I want to hurt myself really bad. They're like, what the heck? I'm like, that's how bad she hurt me. Like that's so like for me, like I got into the music like that.
Yeah. That's true though, man. Cause like when you think about it, to keep it like real simple, it's like when you feel bad, you're gonna feel bad. Yeah. When you feel good, you're gonna feel good. Yeah. So if you're feeling bad and you're going through, dark times, just know it's okay. You're gonna feel bad because you just went through a bad situation, right? So it's like it's okay to feel that way. And then, but again, when you feel good, you're gonna feel good, But
there's something that the homie Rotan always says. He always says, like, when you're in a dark place, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. When you're in a dark place, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. But you gotta go find it though.
You gotta go find it.
You gotta go find it.
Yeah. You can't just wait for it to come to you. Like you gotta go
find that light.
There's action steps to it, and some people's tunnel is darker than others.
But are you kind of glad that like now in this generation and in this, like, I guess, society, like I think mental health is socially a lot more accepted than it was, like, let's say in the 90s or in the early 2000s with like social media and stuff like that. Like,
I agree. I mean, I think it's a lot better. Like it's
Yeah.
more open.
right.
I think now the next step is just making those conversation comfortable because I still believe believe the conversation is still uncomfortable because I
Yeah,
still
of
feel
course.
people are like
It'll never be comfortable.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we just gotta get past it. Like and I think it's just
Yeah.
creating those spaces where like, hey, you know what? There's spaces like this is like, hey, you went through something.
Yeah.
Come here and talk it to us
Let's talk-
because we're
yeah,
gonna
let's
share
talk
with the
about it,
world
bro.
because like this is a space where like we're not gonna shoot down on you. We want to hear your story.
Yeah.
We want you to connect to
And
people.
I feel like this generation now too, a lot of people are like more like are willing to like uplift each other and like, you know,
Oh,
kind of
facts.
push each other a
Facts.
lot more than before. Because before
Yeah.
I remember like if you were like going through something like, oh, you're weak, like
Yeah.
you're a little bitch.
Yeah.
Now it's like, oh shit, tell me about it. What's going on? What are
Yeah.
you dealing with now? You know.
Yeah.
So
You know,
I'm
it's
kind of glad.
It's. I mean, I'm guilty of that. It's a lot of with sports and everything too. You
Yeah,
know, it's like
of
when
course.
you're playing sports and you're down. It's like you don't got time to be a bitch. Like you gotta fucking
Right.
live right. This is right now. You got to get up right now.
Mhm.
And I think that kind of helped me like going through life, just realizing like you going through it, but you know you're gonna go through it, but you got to find a way to get out of it ASAP because we got a goal we got to reach. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you know, just going through that. I think reading books helped me develop my mind when I was young.
Mhm.
And then because without that, I didn't go to college. I went to school, but I ditched a lot. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
not like I was like someone sitting there telling me like, "Hey, this is how you got to think. This is what you got to do." Right?
Yeah.
So for me
We
to
didn't have that guidance.
we didn't have that guidance. For me to start reading, allowed me to see the world and my mind in a different way and how to control it. You know what I mean? And it's like what we focus on is what's going to happen to us. Just like it's like the Buddhist teachings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, the more things you focus on is what's going to happen to you. You got to focus on the things that you want in life. And it's hard, but we got to know, you know, when we go through these things, it doesn't happen overnight. We got to practice at it every single day.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so it's like if you want to get out of that funk, you got to think about getting out of that funk every single day. Not
Yeah.
just one moment. You're like, okay, I'm trying to get out of this funk. And you start going back down and you start feeling negative again. It's like you forget about getting out of the funk. You know what I mean? So you're like, oh shit, I got to go do something good. I got to go do something good today. I'm not feeling good. I got to go do something good today.
Yeah,
You know?
it's just really like taking the small like for some people, like at least for me, like thinking back then it was like
Mhm.
I don't know, maybe it's because of this society too, is like things have to be done quick, like a lot of impatience.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very impatient.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's like oh, like all right, I feel bad, so I want to get over this as soon as
Yeah.
possible.
But it doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't work. It's like sometimes
So
you're gonna
fast-paced right
sometimes
now,
it's
man.
yeah, it's like
So
everybody's like I want it done.
fast-paced.
I'm sad. Tomorrow I want to be better. It's like
Yeah.
oh no, like if it's like a recent thing, you know, you
Take
gotta
some
really
time.
process.
Plus, you know, jobs. You don't got time to be sad. You got to go to work and clock in.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But like for me, like let's say if I'm having like a bad day or something like that, but before, because now I'm working at home, but before when I would actually go into work, like, you know, in a retail store. But I remember like I could have like a bad day, but when I go to work, everything just I forget about everything and like I'm a whole new person at work and like
Yeah.
that's my escape goal. Like I go to work and like
That's the
this is just my place of where I can just be myself and like talk to people, talk to customers, talk to my coworkers, and I can have a shitty day. But once I'm there, everything just changes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah, I
So-
think that's the same thing with me running.
yeah, so like I think sometimes it's just being active or like going out and doing something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That way it helps you get your mind off of whatever you're dealing with. You know.
I think I think that goes into like I mean I'm pretty sure y'all heard about self-care.
Yeah.
So what people are like for so
Self-care is key.
self-care is very key, right?
Yeah.
But it's how you use self-care. So some people think if they're gonna do self-care, it's like all right, cool, I'm gonna go work out and just distract myself. But then they're like, okay, things are done. It's really like that distraction is to help you recenter your feelings. So when you're feeling more calm, you can navigate what you're challenging.
Right.
Self-care isn't like, all right, I'm gonna do something and then like I feel like and you never face what you're facing.
Right.
Or you're
I got
challenge
you.
your thing. So like for
Yeah.
me, it's like that's where like self-care, like I love that it's being talked about. But now it's like getting people to realize that it's not just like going out and doing like going to the bars and drink. Where it's like you gotta face what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Because if you ignore it, it's just gonna pile it up. And that's not the
Yeah.
way to go about with self-care.
For sure. So now you're working with kids and working with the youth and stuff like that. I mean, that's really cool, bro, because I think the youth needs adults to understand where they're coming from and to help guide them.
Yeah.
And I think they just need like an ear really from someone else rather than their friends or family that can kind of just listen and rather than just trying to give them solutions and shit, right?
Yeah. I
That's
mean,
the biggest key.
when you're going to like solutions, so like one of the biggest things a youth told me is like, I value what an adult shares with me, but I don't like when adults give me just advice.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather learn through hearing your story. So if you're gonna talk
okay.
about the challenges of a breaking up, rather than you tell me like these are things what you should not do, whereas more like what did you went through? Like,
This is
what
what
was
I
your
went
first
through.
one? Yeah, like you know, this is my first relationship.
This kid has a good head over his shoulder for him to even have that kind of an understanding and to even feel that way.
Mention
That's
that.
even that's pretty powerful.
To tell you the truth, that's how a lot of youth when they come to me, that's how they talk.
Really?
Like to me, a
They're
lot
much
of
smarter now, huh?
They're a lot smarter than us because I know
maybe we were just
I would have never even think like that. I would be like,
I don't know,
I would
maybe
just
because
ignore it.
I just
Yeah.
went,
they're just smarter than us.
yeah, way smarter for sure.
I just
smarter
make
than
people
us.
feel a certain way. They just open up. They just get extra smart when
Yeah.
they're around me. But yeah, he told me that. I was like, cool. So that's how I talk to people.
That's good.
I try not to give advice. Like, I always like. I mean, I'm still working on it, but like for me, it's like, do you want to hear my story
Yeah,
about when I did this? Would it help you?
and then just give the advice when it's actually needed.
Yeah. Because sometimes, especially when they're young like that, it's like they have to experience it.
Because they don't always need advice. Sometimes they want to hear your story or they want you to hear their story, and then when they need the advice, that's when
Yeah.
the advice should be given. Yeah.
It's not shoving so much.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, because when you're just all of a sudden just giving them advice and you're just shoving it in their brains, you know, and that's not cool.
That's not cool because look, we gotta remember back in the days, like they're going to school from 8 to like 2.
Yeah,
So much information being shoved
So
into
much,
them,
yeah,
and now they're
yeah.
like, okay, now we're gonna give you
Yeah.
life 101.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, I ain't ready. Like when I want, like I just want to come to you
yeah,
because I respect you as an adult. You provide a space where I can hang out with my friends, and we talk about topics that
Yeah.
like important.
Awesome.
yeah.
Well, man, I hope you continue to shine that bright light on all the youth, and you know, keep your light shining bright, bro. Cause
Like a diamond.
like a diamond, like my last name, like my last name, Diamond. But nah, for real, like it's appreciate you coming on and sharing that story with us, cause I mean you gave us some really good gems,
Yeah.
and Phila, you too.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing yours, bro.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
probably the reason why. You feel that way.
No, it's no specific person. It's
Nah,
just,
I got
it's
you. I'm
just
just kidding.
like
It's
just
just yeah.
sometimes it can be overwhelming when
Yeah.
it's from multiple people, and it's just
yeah.
sometimes when you're just in a bad place, you just don't want to hear shit from
Facts,
anyone. Really,
facts,
that's
facts,
just
big
what it is,
facts.
So yeah.
I mean, any last words you got for anybody listening right now? Anything you think that will give them some light?
Just
Yeah.
hey.
Hey, don't give us any advice.
No, I won't give you advice. I just
kidding, I'm just
I don't know if this is advice, but everybody's story is important, and we have
Yeah.
our own interesting way of sharing it. And for me, it's
Absolutely.
it's through talking, and then some people it's through music, some people it's through drawing.
Mm-hmm.
You have a certain way of sharing your stories, and you guys give me that opportunity here to
For
like
sure.
share
Yeah.
it. So
Appreciate it.
I wish you guys all the best luck.
Thank you,
Thank
bro.
you for
Man.
being here.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Thank you for blessing us with a session, man.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Phil, take us away, bro.
That's it, guys. Man, thank you so much for stopping by, and we appreciate you, brother. Thank
Yeah.
you. And no, hey, oh my bad.
No,
I
you
thought that
good.
you're pointing at me like.
It's like, you bastard.
You know what? though? I just hope a lot of people who do watch this or listen to this, get a lot out of this, because like I said, or like you said too, like you're not the only one doing this. This is meant for that one specific person. So
Yeah.
hopefully this is able to touch someone that needs to hear it the most. So
And
thank you, bro.
we hope you understand that we want you to keep sharing your story.
Yes.
But
Yes.
you will find someone that will listen.
Yeah.
And,
And
your
appreciate
story,
that story.
your story is meant for somebody.
Yeah.
For sure.
So yeah, if Danny got anything out of this whole time, was that.
That's
for sure.
big, man. That was keys.
That's key. Thanks, you brother.
All right,
Hey,
man. Appreciate
Thanks,
you,
man.
man.
Thanks,
And thank you everybody for tuning into the Session of Podcast, man. Keep it going. We got new episodes coming soon.
Yes, sir. Peace out. Thank you.
Peace.